Welcome to the state of Ohio. I'm Karen Kassler. A potentially historic deal is now before Ohio voters on a new process for drawing maps for congressional districts in the future, especially after the next census, when Ohio is expected to lose one of its 16 seats in Congress. It took weeks, but state lawmakers and citizens groups came together on a compromise that will be on the May ballot. State House correspondent Joe Ingles has more on the story.
After weeks of closed-door negotiations with Democrats and a coalition of citizens groups pushing for redistricting changes, the Republican majority in the legislature was able to pass a plan that got a unanimous vote in the Senate and overwhelming bipartisan support in the House.
This is a great step, and I'm really happy that we were able to get a bipartisan agreement. Nobody's happy, but I think that's what happens in compromise. And so now it's to the people on the May ballot, and I hope they will consider supporting this.
The plan includes factors that make it harder for districts to favor one party over another, like the ones on the current congressional map. That map, drawn in 2011, is regarded as one of the most gerrymandered in the nation. Supporters of the new plan say it will require more buy-in from whatever party is in the minority, especially for a 10-year map. A map forced through by the majority party would only be good for just 4 years.
65 of Ohio's 88 counties cannot be split at all. It says then 18 of Ohio's counties can be split only once, and then it goes on to say only 5 counties can be split twice. So under this particular proposal, a county cannot be split 3 different times.
Those building the map can choose which 5 counties will be split twice. There are some additional rules, too, like the one that says Cleveland must be kept whole unless required by federal law, and that district doesn't have to remain in the boundaries of Cuyahoga County. Under this plan, Cincinnati must be kept whole the next time the map is drawn, and any time Hamilton County is bigger than a district. One of the representatives for that area voted against this new plan because she thinks it will make it harder for minorities there to be fairly represented.
Mr. Speaker, I'm highly disappointed. And I know people sell this as, oh, Hamilton County, you're going to have a chance. In Hamilton County, not one African American has been elected countywide. So keeping the county together is nice, but it's not a guarantee for more inclusion.
A Democrat who represents Lorain, which has the state's highest percentage of Hispanic residents, also opposed the new plan.
There is no protection in this legislation in and of itself for communities of racial and ethnic minorities beyond abiding by federal law. That is no guarantee, my friends. Federal law, that federal law currently protects these groups. It does not. It is being eroded both in the courts and in the legislation and in the Congress.
Despite the opposition of some, the plan garnered widespread support from both Republicans and Democrats, passing in the House by about an 8-to-1 margin. It passed the Senate unanimously. The plan also won support from a coalition of citizens groups that was planning to put its own congressional redistricting plan before voters in the fall, a plan where a bipartisan commission, not lawmakers, would draw the map.
This was, of course, a compromise, and it is always hard when you've been spending your time working hard, collecting signatures, talking to voters about a reform measure that we want to put on the ballot to say, okay, let's step back and let's actually see what kind of compromise comes out, and let's see if it's actually good enough. And that's where we're at. We're at a point where it's good enough. We support it.
But if voters don't approve this issue in May,
no one's throwing away their petitions or pitching, all of that. You know, what we'll do is we're going to see how things come together when it comes to the campaign.
Terser says the coalition will continue to push forward with its redistricting amendment in November or next year.
And that was Joe Ingles reporting.